What is up, you guys? Navicon here, bringing you my perspective as to why entertainment is bringing us, and welcome to another discussion video. And this one is very important. This one is important to me because this this Copa America tournament was a complete and utter disaster. What was supposed to be for me the the tournament of the summer turned out to be a sports disaster class. Thankfully, I am not doing this alone. I will spread my thoughts on this with two other people, and this first person I'll be introducing is someone who has done the previous Copa America video with me. His name is Carbs. How are you doing today?
Doing pretty well. Glad to be back. And yeah, you are right about that. We have a lot to talk about what happened during this Copa America.
Okay, and then the other person I'll be introducing is CAGaming. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
Alrighty then. All right. Let's go to what I would consider is the five reasons why the 2024 Copa America was a complete disaster on all fronts. The first thing I will talk about were the ticket prices. So in previous Copa America tournaments, Conmebol were the ones that were usually the ones that distribute the tickets. They handled the prices for the tickets. And for this Copa America tournament, for some reason, they let various third party companies do it. They for some reason decided not to do it anymore. They wanted the third party companies to do it. And it led to many tickets being very expensive, and because of that reason, it led to various games being half full and sometimes being empty. It was a so much for growing the game in the states, you guys. So much for growing in the game here in the states, you guys. It's mind-boggling. What the it's absolutely mind-boggling what the prices. But and and thank but for those that are worried that this is going to happen for the 2026 World Cup, that's not going to happen. Thankfully, FIFA are solely responsible for the for the tickets. They are responsible for how they handle prices, how they handle the seats. It's a very difficult process to get the tickets, but they they make sure they give it. But they make sure to not give it to third party companies. They do it themselves. All right, Carbs. How do you feel about the ticket prices for the Copa America?
All right, the tickets. We're going first off with one of the most important aspects of the Copa America. So without tickets, no one will buy them, and no one will be able to go to the Copa America. Now, but if I found it weird as well that Conmebol, for some strange reason, decided to not be the ones to give out the tickets. Which, in my opinion, I thought that well, maybe they're giving it to someone else who's responsible, or they're giving the U.S. a try at handling the tickets to see what happens. That completely backfired because since you said that we'll just give it to third party distributors, that just made the tickets not available to anybody that usually would save up enough money to go to the Copa America. Usually, people could just save up just maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks worth of working money because a lot of people don't. A lot of people do that. But for the Copa America this year, oh no, this is about 2 to 3 house rents worth of tickets for a game that isn't even really worth that amount of money. I find it kind of ridiculous how in the U.S., the tickets are really expensive, but outside of it, they're relatively cheaper than what they sold it for here, which I'm guessing is due to the fact that Conmebol is the one that usually distributes them. So it's kind of weird how Conmebol decided the year that the Copa America was going to be hosted in the U.S. decided not to, be the hoster of the tickets, which also leads to something else that we're going to be talking about because of these outrageous ticket prices. There comes outrageous risk of buying a ticket for certain games. So, yeah.
All right. As for CAGaming, how do you feel about the outrageous ticket prices?
They are absolutely crazy. Like $200 seemed to be an average, and that's just too much for a game of any size. Or really any tickets. That's too much for really any tickets. But especially something like this that is just way too expensive. And I'm sure they got even more expensive than that. But what I'm seeing is that was an average, and that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. I yeah. Thankfully, this is something like this is not going to happen for the 26th World Cup. Nor this shouldn't happen at the Club World Cup, since that's also a FIFA sanctioned tournament. I don't think this is going to happen at the Gold Cup next year because CONCACAF is a lot more competent than CONMEBOL, if you ask me. But that's probably a hot take, but you're not going to hear that from me. The second reason why the Copa America was a disaster, the pitch conditions, the field conditions, they were pretty poor. Like, yeah, they were pretty poor. So there were reports that they 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 CONMEBOL didn't put grass until like days after the tournament, when they were supposed to do it months before the tournament. No, they did it days before the tournament. Which why? Was there not enough time? For some reason, was there like infrastructure legislative problems or something like that? I don't understand. Maybe they got lazy. I don't know. That's and because of that, it led to a lot of players, some of the players getting injured. I think the biggest example. I think the biggest example for me was Edson Alvarez, who plays for Mexico. He got he got a huge injury, which resulted in him not playing for the rest of the Copa America. And another one is Advin Kula from Peru. Yeah, he got a pretty big injury as well when he was playing against Canada. So, and a lot of coaches like Lionel Scaloni from Argentina, Jesse Marsh from Canada, Marcelo Bielsa from Uruguay, and Fossati from Peru, they were they were calling Conmebol out on these poor pitch conditions. So, yeah, it's not zero excuse for Conmebol, zero excuse. So, all right, Carbs, how do you feel about the pitch conditions from the Copa America?
So I didn't really pay much attention to it, to like the fields and why they were last minute fixed. But because you brought it up, I am starting to wonder why they actually did that. Because if they usually do it months in advance, then I don't see a problem as to why they didn't do that this year in the U.S. Unless those fields, of course, were being used already. But that is so weird how they just did it last minute. Plus, if you're saying that players were injured specifically due to that, then that just makes it 10 times worse as to why um, the U.S. is even hosting the Copa America, and that they're giving the players the best ground to play on. Just makes it, more dangerous for everybody and people more likely to get hurt. But that's insane. I had no idea the stadium conditions were in really bad shape. I had no idea for that. That to me just sounds very unprofessional for I guess you could say the people who are hosting this event. crazy out.
All right, CAGaming, how do you feel about the pitch conditions?
I am only completely aware of how they were at my home stadium, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and I know that they only put up grass like a few days before the tournament, and it was a disaster from what I remember hearing about it and what I remember seeing, especially for the I know it was one of the games Argentina played at our stadium.
I think it was
I would
Canada.
I think it was Canada versus Argentina, yes. And I don't know why they decided to wait that till that close before the tournament instead of doing it months in advance. Though this, in the case of the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, there are a lot of MLS matches going on, and MLS usually plays on turf, I believe, or like MLS teams usually play on turf, I believe. So it's a little more understandable because it's a stadium that the MLS that an MLS team plays at, but it's still like I still think they should have done it further in advance because it would have been a disaster could have been avoided.
Yeah, honestly, like, yeah. As for why the U.S. is hosting the Copa America, I just think CONMEBOL just wanted to make a quick buck. That's just how I feel. That's what this tournament feels like to me. Yeah, that's just how I feel. And moving on to the third reason, the referee. That was the some of that. This Copa America has some of the worst refereeing I have ever seen in my life. And I've seen some people telling me that South American referees are better than North American referees. And after seeing this tournament, I I can't take those opinions seriously. Like, are you actually for real right now? Are you for real? Are you serious? All right. For examples on the terrible refereeing, Canada versus Peru. One of the Peruvian players, he hit Alistair Johnston in the face, and he didn't even receive the red card. What the fuck? And the big example for me was the Uruguay versus the US match. The referee was a complete and utter disaster. Absolute disaster class. From his name was the referee was Kevin Ortega. I from what I've heard, from what I've read, he only refereed three professional matches, three in total, before he came in to coach the no, not coach, the refereed the U.S. versus Uruguay match. Absolute amateurish level. I have never seen a referee this bad, this badly done. I would talk. I would also talk the shit about the referee on the U.S. versus Panama match, but the referee for that match is a CONCACAF referee. I know how he works. I know who he is. He is not a good referee, but he is a CONCACAF referee, not a CONMEBOL one. The Uruguay versus U.S. match is a CONMEBOL referee. He's a South American referee at absolute fucking disaster class. I cannot. For those of you that are saying that CONMEBOL referees are better than CONCACAF referees, no, I can't take you seriously. I'm sorry. All right, Carbs. How do you feel about the refereeing in the Copa America?
Well, as you were talking about the Uruguay versus USA match and who the referee was, Kevin Ortega. Fun fact about him: he is apparently a Peruvian referee. So that really hits home. Um, Apparently, he is one of the youngest referees in the Peruvian Football Federation. So that makes a lot of sense as to why he made those decisions. And it is insane to me how they would let someone who only started just like a few years ago to referee on a Copa America match. Like, of course, you can't give them all to the professionals or the ones that have more experience, but it's still sad how he made a lot of bad calls during the game. Like everyone who watched I remember I was watching this game in a restaurant, and everyone was complaining about how the ref was either making the right calls or he was making bad calls. And I I would agree with him just because of the fact that there was a lot of times where he should have called like either a foul or he should have just looked at what was happening between the players. But it that just happened. And also, it's not just him, but it's also the fact that there's a ton of different referees throughout multiple games that either were distracted, were not paying well attention, were just focusing on one side. It was bad. I will say that there were some there. I forgot the name of the. Gosh, there was I forgot which game it was where the referee would just would make a ton of different calls, even if they were good or bad. They would just like stop the game multiple times. But yeah, they got a better or they got to choose better referees for specific games at least.
All right, CAGaming. How do you feel about the refereeing in the Copa America?
This is some of the worst refereeing I've seen outside of the Premier League.
Oh,
I mean, like, I didn't watch every match, but I watched at least a couple matches, and it was just ridiculous how awful some of the refereeing was. I don't
yeah,
really have much to say about it, but it's just ridiculous how awful it wasn't at times.
yeah. I forgot the refereeing in the Premier League is also really bad. Yeah, that's yeah. I forgot that the European referees aren't much better. I think it's just the English referees. I don't recall hearing anything about regarding Italian or Spanish referees. All right, moving on to the fourth reason: the Uruguay versus Colombia aftermath. So, for those that didn't know, after the Uruguay and Colombia match ended, there was a huge fight at the stands. At the stands, and regarding Colombians and Uruguayans fighting. The Uruguayans that were fighting against the Colombians were mainly family members of the Uruguayan players, and the Uruguayan players had to step up and save their family. They have to fight. They have to fight against their Colombian fans all because they wanted the smoke. It's I, this is I have never seen a fight this big in a U.S. in a U.S. sports history since maybe the Malice at the Palace. Like That's how big that fight was. I mean,
Dang, that's an interesting comparison. Dang, I can't believe you thought of that.
yeah. Honestly, like it's it's insane how much of a disaster, how low the security was. There was little to no security. Like, how is there little to no security in this? In I think this was a semifinal. This was a semifinal match at the Copa America. How was there low? There was low security. There was little to no security. And why were the families? Why were the Uruguayan families at literally at those stands? Shouldn't they be in the Shouldn't they be at the reservations? Why are they there?
You would think that, but at the same time, think about it. It's just the family. I mean, of course, it's family members. They should be in either like the VIP section or somewhere not in the public crowd. But
Yeah,
it's so funny to me how salty a team can be or a country can be where the family members of the players are the ones getting involved in the fights. Like, okay, you would expect this from like typical fans, typical diehard fans, but from the families of the players to just start beefing with random people from the crowds that are supporting Colombia, like, come on, that's a little too low. And also, it's insane how they were able to like just sneak past security like that, and just like sorrow because man, that was carnage right there. And I will say this though, security not doing their job sounds like another problem that happened in the Copa America that could be discussed a bit.
Yeah, honestly, props to Darwin Nunez for actually throwing for actually willing to throw hands at the pedestrians. Like, honestly, I would have done the same. Unfortunately, it has been confirmed that he has been fined for like thousands of dollars because of that, along with some other Uruguayan players. But Darwin Nunez is the hero of that. Is the hero. I would have done the same. I would have done the same, honestly. All right. CAGaming. How do you feel about the aftermath of the Uruguay versus Colombia match?
Fights breaking out during sports matches, it's not a new thing, unfortunately. Well, it just shouldn't be happening, but people are just aggressive for ridiculous reasons, and I've not seen a fight in sports this big personally. I genuinely just I think that it really like and security should have done a lot more than they did.
Yeah, this is a security disaster class, and unfortunately, there wasn't that many because Comnebol this Comnebol got greedy.
They really did, especially with security, because if you really think about it, they only had like maybe 4 or 5, even six securities around each corner, and I don't think that's enough for an event this big, like the semifinals of La Copa America, an international event. Like, sure, you could have that amount of securities for like a football game, but at the same time, even at the Super Bowl, security isn't even that like come on. Also, fighting after a soccer game, sure. I mean, you don't really see it on average in Peru. Like, I remember I went to a soccer game in Peru versus El Salvador, and Peru won. And then all of like the Salvadorians were salty that they were like leaving, but they were just insulting, you know, everybody. But they don't really fight. That wasn't most of that thing I saw. I saw it firsthand too. They were like right behind me. But seeing the people fight like that, I thought it was like a hockey game or a football game. But shoot, it's just soccer. But security didn't do their job.
Yeah, honestly, like I don't. There were debates on who started the fight, the Uruguayan fans or the Colombian fans. But honestly, I don't even care. The fight should not have happened to begin with. And last but not least, the Copa America final disaster. What the fuck did I? I saw this shit live on television. What the fuck did I just watch?
I saw it live and on my phone in the car while I was driving back from Florida. Man, I'll remember where I was when I watched that game. Shoot, I was in front of my dad. My dad was driving, and as we were watching the game, we noticed how like during like the actual game, I noticed that the players were all tired. No one was running at the end. The only reason as to why Argentina won was because they got lucky. A lot of things happened like before the game, during the game, and then after the game. You want to start on before?
Yeah, this is where Conmebol showed their true colors to me. There were no lines. The security was non-existent. The there were the ticketing system also non-existent. Like the gates. There were what gates? They were destroyed, and there was a huge stampede. It was all over the stadium. It was and this is a disgrace, an absolute disgrace. People could have died. It's a miracle no one died. Seriously, there were mothers, kids over there at the stadium. They just wanted to watch a game. They just wanted to watch the final match. This is a once in a lifetime for a lot of people. This is what Copa gave them. This is Copa at their truest colors. And all right, Carbs. I will let you have this one.
Oh man, where do I? Okay, you know what? I'm going to start at the beginning. Pre-game. All right. So during the pregame, I actually had, I was lucky enough to be in Florida when this happened. So I was in, or I think I was in Miami, I think, or in Orlando. No, it was definitely in Miami. So we were, so I was in Miami, going through the different streets with my family, and we wanted to see if we could visit the stadium, before all the people started showing up. It was around, I'm not lying to you, it was around 11 a.m., 12 p.m. when we had that idea. But as soon as we put the map towards there, the traffic was already like an hour and a half, 2 hours long to just get there. And usually to get there, it would only take like 20 to 30 minutes. So that right there was an indicator that, okay, this place, this stadium is going to be jam packed. So we left Florida. Yeah, we were hours into the drive. The game was starting. Well, we were waiting for the game to start, which I'm pretty sure. What time was the game supposed to start? Was it supposed to start at 7, 6, 7, 7, 8?
Yeah, I think it was supposed to start at 7, but they delayed it for
Yeah,
like
7, right?
2 hours.
Yeah. Let me get that. Yeah, yeah. So they're supposed to start at 7, and then they said they were going to delay it for like an hour and a half because of the amount of people. And I said, okay, well that makes sense because it's a Copa America international event. It's going to be happening in the U.S. A lot of people are going to be there. Okay, so I didn't think like that. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But then I said, like, losing that people that was outside, and the amount of people that just were waiting in line, I was like, whoa, okay. I, did, I was not expecting this many people. I assumed that there was going to be, the typical title for an event. It was going to be organized. It was going to be, people having fun, joyous. When I saw the faces of the people during the news, their faces looked stressed, tired, angry, because it's assuming that people thought that they could just, oh, it's gonna be easy. It's all gonna be organized. I'm just gonna come in 2 hours early before the game starts. If I would, I normally don't go to games, but if I only look at the finale of an international event, I would be there at least 10 hours before the actual game starts to avoid the traffic, of course. But even then, I even eventually all that was that didn't even look like it was gonna work at all. So it's insane to me how the game from starting at 7, it started I think at like 8:30, 8:45. So that right there was an indicator of how bad they acted like they thought out how it was going to go down. Because, like you said, even like the security gates, what security gates? At the time everyone got there were no ones. Everyone was just jam packed. Everyone had their phone out in the site saying, "The ticket, I have a ticket," because it got that bad. There's people who didn't even have tickets or just coming in. And this is pre-game, by the way. So, I don't know if anybody wants to say something about the pre-game before the actual game.
Yeah, about the pregame stuff, there were people jumping off fences, gates. There were there were even videos of people going through the ventilations, the
Yup,
ventilation systems. That is
yup.
unfucking heard of.
crazy, isn't it? When I saw that, I was like, no way they actually went through the fence. That's just taking it a little too far, don't you think?
All right. How do you feel about the Copa America disaster, CA Gaming?
Uh, it was like the delay for the final was already excessive, and then the danger all the people put each other in was just even worse. Like jumping over fences and all that. This is just ridiculous. Like I've said a lot of things are ridiculous today, but like it if security had actually done their job, like that's the point we've been bringing up a lot today as well. If security had actually done their job, I feel like this could have all been avoided. And honestly, the game would have started on time. It wouldn't have ended in like something that could have put people in enough danger to potentially get fatally injured or other things like that. Like people were going insane, and people should have been calmer, but also it's just as much on the security as it is on the other people. It's ridiculous how incompetent the security at the Copa was.
Yeah, about the security thing. The thing is, there was not enough security. Like, if there was not enough security, Gomnet Board just decided to go cheap and decided that the security was fine enough. If it was fine enough for the semifinals, they're fine. This amount of the security will be fine enough for the final, bro. Oh my god, no. That's not how it works, Skumnet
Wasn't
board.
even
That's
close.
not
Wasn't
how
even
it
close.
works, bro. They went cheap on the security, the gates, the ticket prices, the infrastructure, the fields, everything. They decided to go cheap on everything. This reminds me of Woodstock '99. Like, I don't know, maybe I am stretching it, but this reminds me of Woodstock '99 because the organizers of
Oh no,
Woodstock
you're
'99,
right.
yeah, they went cheap as well. And the final day, the last 2 days of Woodstock '99, complete disaster. Like many, like, and there because a complete disaster. Water was like $15. And there people were already destroying a lot of things at Woodstock '99. This Copa America final reminds me of Woodstock '99.
That is a perfect comparison. I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah, I thought I was reaching when I thought of it that way, but no. This is a perfect comparison. I'm glad I was validated.
Yeah. All right. So we talked about the security. We talked about the large crowd. We talked about how people were breaking rules, jumping into fences, going through vents. Oh, it was like friggin' Five Nights at Freddy's going through vents. Anyways, all right. Now let's move on to the actual game. All
And
right. So let's go into the game.
honestly, before I go to the bonus reason, um, because of this disaster class, I've been seeing some people saying that the U.S. are not prepared to host the World Cup. To that, I say, yeah, no, bullshit. There are multiple reasons why that argument is bullshit. Okay, one, we have hosted the World Cup before, 1994. Two, we have hosted the Copa America before, 2016. Three, we have hosted multiple huge events, convention centers, concerts, Super Bowls, uh, but the theatrical plays, theme parks. We are literally we host some of the biggest events in the world. So do not tell me we are not prepared to host the World Cup in 2026. We are prepared. We have the infrastructure. We have everything good to go.
You know, you say that, but then again, look what happened. which honestly is that's just Conmebol. It's not the U.S. fault because they, it's Conmebol's fault. They
Yeah,
decided to go cheap for
yeah,
this, but
yeah.
gladly, gladly and hopefully, and most likely, FIFA will actually, put
Un-
some thought into it.
yep. Until I see until I see evidence that the U.S. soccer was involved in organizing this tournament, this Copa America is all on Conmebol. This is all on Conmebol. Now we move on to the bonus round. We move.
Oh, wait. Before the bonus question, I have something to say.
Well, what is it?
Messi crying.
Damn. Well,
Damn.
let's move on to the final reason, the bonus reason why this Copa America is a complete disaster. The United States of America were the first host nation of the Copa America to be grouped at this tournament.
And that I say hilarious.
The world already does not take us seriously as a footballing nation. This will forever solidify their case forever. Forever. Y'all don't understand how much of a complete disaster this was. This was supposed to be the hypest thing for for this for the United States. But yeah, until the World Cup 2026, this was the biggest thing for soccer in the states, and our national team fucking blew it. The only players that I would say were really good were Follering Balogun and Joe Scally. Those players I would say they those players I would say they should keep their heads up because they played very well. They they know how big of a tournament this is. There's so much complacency, so much incompetence, and I am so glad all that is gone because I I I was starting to lose faith in the growth of the sport in this country after that disastrous performance at the Copa America, and thankfully that was just a huge blip because I thought we had learned from our elimination from Russia 2018, but we did not. I'm so glad Greg Berhalter's gone. His play style was an absolute torture to watch. The players looked so much worse under him, and I hope that with Mauricio Pochettino, we will look like we will look so much better. Honestly. All right, Carps, take it away.
The U.S. being the first to be kicked out was something that I actually ex- kind of expected, but also not really because I thought they would last longer in the game. But I found it hilarious how the country that hosted the game was the first one that get kicked out. Like, I'll give you an example. Like the World Cup the last World Cup in Qatar. I was, were they? You played right?
Wait, what did you say?
Qatar in the World Cup.
Oh yeah, they got eliminated in the group stages.
So they were also eliminated first.
No, 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 no. I think it was South Africa. I could be wrong.
Okay, so what you're saying is Qatar did what wasn't eliminated first.
I think they were the second.
But crazy enough, that's still better than the U.S. That's insane. But I find it hilarious how the one time where the U.S. is internationally being like on the news. I mean, sure, they did host the Copa America before, but like this is the first time when everybody's saying it. And for being the first ones out, really comes to show where they actually rank between like the other countries. That, and I also have to say you made a pretty good point as to it don't have to be between the players and the coaches because I will say this though, some of the coaches for specific countries weren't the best. They had a really weird tactics, and because like there were some teams that I was surprised weren't doing as well as they normally are, and then there were some teams that were doing better than they usually it's so uncomfortable. Some coaches for certain games have like an amazing tactic, but then for like the important games, they like give out the weirdest strategies that end up causing them to lose. But yeah, I found that the US was the first team to get knocked out, and also was sad when they did because they might not make it out there just right for their team.
The worst part is our group was doable. We had Panama, Bolivia, and Uruguay. Our fate was sealed when we lost to Panama. That was our fate to be eliminated in the group stages because of Tim Weah for some reason deciding to punch the Panamanian player in the face. What the fuck, man? What the absolute fuck? All right, CAGaming. I'll let you have this.
Uh, what was it again? Sorry.
The U.S. being the first host nation of the Copa America to be eliminated in the group stages.
Yeah, it. I honestly at least partially blame this on the coach because we played so bad under him, and I feel like we're gonna play so much better under Pochettino. And I say this as a Chelsea fan, where Pochettino got sacked for no reason, even though he got us to our best league finish since we won the Champions League. Um, but Berhalter, um, he deserved to get sacked because the way we played under him, I'm not surprised. Like I'm not surprised we got knocked out in the group stages just because of how we played under him. And yeah, also way up punching the other player in the face. That was ridiculous. Why did he do that? That was just, he didn't have to do that. That's just crazy. But
Honestly, I feared the worst for our program. When I heard that Mauricio Pochettino was going to be coaching us, I wanted to confirm. I wanted to hear an official confirmation because I didn't want to believe it. Then Fabrizio Romano confirmed it, and then I was like, "We are so back, baby!" Now I'm excited to. I'm actually excited to for the. Now I'm actually excited for this team. I can't wait for the 2026 World Cup. It's oh god, it's gonna be so much fun. See,
it
yeah,
really is. It really is.
and that is it with yeah CONMEBOL, they have no idea what they're doing. They are so incompetent on hosting the on hosting this Copa America. This just show me their true colors. Yeah, if you're gonna host the Copa America in the U.S., let CONCACAF handle it. Don't come near. Don't come near us, man. This just showed me that you guys have no idea what you're doing. Give this tournament to CONCACAF if you're gonna host it in Mexico, the U.S., or Canada. You guys have no idea what you're doing. Yeah, but thank you for bringing this for having this most prestigious tournament along with the Copa Libertadores. Let CONCACAF handle this if you're guys gonna put it in the U.S. Yeah, or anywhere in North America. Let CONCACAF handle this. We don't need you. All right. All right. Yeah. Carbs, do you agree on this? as the sole South American.
Yeah, I will say that. Just come let someone else host it, or if you want to host something in the U.S., please just give your best and don't show us the worst. Speaking of worst, I did forget to mention one thing. The, this was reason number five as to why the Copa America was a disaster. Towards like after the game ended, a lot of people on the news were shouting out at the fact that they were not allowed in the game, even though they had bought tickets for the game. They were not allowed in because they, it was just they were just messed up. And I saw a video of how much money these people paid for the ticket that they didn't even get to see the game, and they didn't even know if they were going to be able to get refunds for it. These people paid roughly like the the mean for the amount that for the amount, the average was at least like 2 grand. That to me is insane. And that's just the average. And that's just the low average too, because there are families of four who would pay about $1,000 per ticket to go watch this game. And it's insane to me how they just messed it up. This was terrible. Let's just hope and let's just believe that FIFA World Cup is going to be better. Either going to be better. The ticket pricing is going to be more affordable. And man, I just hope they don't treat it as if it was like a Super Bowl game, like with these unaffordable prices. Oh, and I will say this though: never again have a halftime show during the Copa America.
Oh, the halftime show! Oh my god, the final halftime show with Shakira, bro. What the fuck? What were they thinking? That was dumb.
It really showed how one-sided this Copa America was, huh?
That was so. That was so tone deaf by Golden Boy. That was stupid. Absolutely dumb fuckery over there. But yeah, if the next Copa America has complete control of Golden Boy, yeah, keep it away from the United States. Yeah, don't come back. Don't come back to us, Golden Boy, please.
Like the halftime show only exists for the Super Bowl, not for any other. I don't. I'm not sure if this is true, but the halftime show is only like made for the Super Bowl, but never
Why?
for like any other show.
I don't understand that,
Like
honestly. I really don't
like not
understand
even
that.
the Olympics have a halftime show.
Yeah,
But then
not even
again,
the Olympics have
the
a
Olympics did have like an opening ceremony, but that's because it's the Olympics. This is like a global. This is a global thing. This is a global sport. But yeah, even they weren't one sided of like how this
yeah,
Copa America was. Like imagine you're an Argentina fan and then you see Shakira performing representing Colombia and you're just waiting for somebody else to represent Argentina to come out and then no one comes out because it's only like 15 minutes, 20 minutes for the halftime. Like what?
yeah. If this was if they did this like before the game, no one would have said anything. But this was the halftime show. You are not the super. Okay, the Copa America is more prestigious than the Super Bowl. The, let Super Bowl do that. There's a reason why it stays in the Super Bowl. Don't 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 do this, Copa. Don't do this, Copa Board. Never again, man. Never again. That's it for me. I got nothing else to say other than Copa Board is an incompetent federation. I don't want to see them hosting the Copa America in the U.S. ever again, unless CONCACAF is is are the organizers of it, which they apparently they were the organizers in the 2016 one, the Centenario. I think it was either CONCACAF or U.S. Soccer. I think it was U.S. Soccer that were the organizers of this. No one said anything. No one said anything about the Centenario because they organized it well. It was organized well. Uh, there were good security, good infrastructure. Yeah, it was all around just a good time in 2016. It's just that in 2024, Communeboard were not happy that they didn't get all the money from the Centenario. And so in 2024, they wanted to have complete control over it. And look where that got you. You are now dealing with various lawsuits. Good going, man. Nice going. That's it for me. Um, Now I'm gonna go and see if you can find it, any of these folks on any social media websites. Starting with Carbs. Where can people find you?
People can find me. Well, I have an Instagram. It's ERCKY05. I don't really post a lot of things, but I mean that's where you can find me. And if you guys don't know, I go to George Mason now. So yeah, you can find me at George Mason. If you ever see me, say hi. But nobody knows what I look like unless you go to my Instagram. So yep, that's all for me. Until next time, it was great talking to you guys and like it. I can't wait to be invited for the next discussion.
All right, all right. How about you, CAGaming? Where can people find you?
Y'all can find me on YouTube at CAGaming, TikTok at KC underscore A18504, and on Twitch at CA18504.
All right, you guys. As for me, you can find me on Instagram, Backblocked and Letterbox. And this is Nomicon. I'll see you guys next time.